Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 1v1 AirMech Ultimate Badass Tournament, right here live on OPTVLive. I am Steve, and I'm bringing you Game B of tonight's series, ImATurtle versus ooiankang, who will otherwise be known as Kang for the rest of this tournament. That is right, folks. We are just waiting for these players to go ahead, get into the game. Here we go, folks. Once again, we will be on Dust. Seems to be a popular choice with the players so far tonight. We'll have to see how it keeps going. Might be an all Dust tournament tonight. We're going to have to see. So, folks, let's do a little introduction before the game gets too far in. On the left-hand side, in the green color, flying around in that beautiful green sea bomber, it is ImATurtle. Kind of makes sense that he would in fact go with a green sea bomber. That is right. Oh, the bear traps are coming out. If you do not know what the bear traps are, as you can see, they're designed to hold on to the infantry as they walk by and just keep hanging on until they're dead. The only things that can eliminate the bear traps happens to be what Kang has out, which are healing type of units, such as that patcher that is right there. As you can see, it goes out, it disarms it, and poop, out it goes. So that does make it a little bit harder for Turtle to continue using those bear traps. Meanwhile, Kang's flying over to Turtle's base, hangs out for a while in the air before he decides what he's going to do. But in the end, he does decide to drop down. He's busy trying to shoot up that fortress, trying to get in on those corners, because those corners do take additional damage versus the rest of the part of the base, which is more heavily armored. Kang now surrounded by portal sentry turrets. That's right, folks. The one and the only, the portal sentry turret right here in AirMech. Kang being chased out, but he will survive. That is one of the benefits of a Neo. Very lightweight, very fragile, but incredible speed, giving him plenty of opportunity to get out of there, stay alive. So now that we have a down moment, let's take a quick look at these players and see what they brought for this match. ImATurtle went with a Tycho Bomber. He has Necro Bear Traps, Heroes, Zippers, Turtles, and Sentry Turrets. Again, extremely unique loadout. Nothing meta about that at all. Meanwhile, Kang, on the other hand, again taking another approach into the fortress itself. He brought a complete loadout of units, but again, very, very unique, very, very different. He's got Sams, Creepers, Patchers, Necros, Boosters. You very rarely see boosters on a Neo, but he's got them. Turtles, Archies, and Jokers. Right now, Turtle with a commanding upkeep lead. However, how much of a commanding lead can you say when you have 14 Zippers? That is right, folks. Zippers are those little motorcycles. They do very minimal damage. They have very little hit points, very little armor. They die easily. But Turtle, Kang plays right into Turtle's strength as a bomber. Bombers have those melee swipes. Infantry is extremely susceptible to those melee swipes, making it incredibly easy for Turtle to just wipe out all that infantry with just a few quick swipes of his hands. Kang, on the other hand, trying to cloak out, trying to get out of there. He's once again just going to put pressure onto the fortress. He's now shooting into the complete rear of the fortress. That is pretty heavily armored. He's not doing as much damage as he could be if he was targeting one of the four corners. So sadly, it's just not as an efficient use of his time, especially for the amount of time that he was there all alone with nobody there. He's now trying to use the cloak, trying to see if he can find a way out of there. His energy will only let him cloak for so much, but Turtle eventually giving up. Kang will go ahead, decloak, shoot in again. Now we can see those red flashes, so that means about every other hit was hitting that corner, taking that extra damage. And if it flashes white, it's taking regular amounts of damage. When you see that red flash, there is additional damage that is being taken. Turtle not even really caring about Kang. Kang still completely focused on doing nothing but attacking the fortress directly. Really not even building units. He's floating 43,000 credits with only 12 upkeep. Unfortunately for him, a lot of missed opportunity here. Meanwhile, Turtle, on the other hand, 41 out of 61 upkeep, but a lot of that is being devoted to heroes, which are flying healing units, zippers, and then turtles themselves. As we just saw in the last game, turtles have no offensive capabilities. They're nothing more than a damaged meat shield, but we've got them, and they're coming. Now remember, for tonight's players, it's not just necessarily bringing lots of light units or things like that, but it's overall just how much of a badass you are and how much you can impress the viewers with your gameplay style. So make sure, competitors, that you're bringing the right kind of mix of units to be awesome and badass all at the same time. Sometimes it can be really hard to try to figure out what exactly will constitute badass. But it's really, a lot of it tonight, guys, it's showmanship, in all honesty. Kang, once again, trying to use that cloak to get out of there, but Turtle tracking him down. Kang with the great spin around. Turtle trying to find him. He cannot find him, but Kang now out of energy. Can Turtle chase him down? Without that energy, any AirMech flies so much slower. Turtle catching up to him. Kang almost close to death, but Turtle, more concerned, rightly so, with the sheer amount of infantry that was shooting down his middle outpost. He takes him down, keeping that outpost online for himself. And we've now got turtles on turtles coming. I have no idea what these players are exactly doing tonight, but it sure is different, folks. We will say that much. Completely different from what we see any of the time. Turtle is about to lose control of his outpost. Only one creep remains in. He fortunately just gets in a reinforcement wave of creep right before he loses control of this outpost, which was perfect timing considering the fact that all those jokers were coming in. Jokers are like armored cars. While not overly damaging towards things like tanks, they are very, very efficient at neutralizing outposts, taking out those infantry units that keep them online. Kang continuing to use auto-deploy. He's auto-deploying from his fortress itself. Doesn't still have a lot of units out on the battlefield at all. If Turtle didn't have most of his upkeep devoted to... Well, then again, I mean, what else does he have, right, folks? The only two offensive units in his entire loadout are zippers and sentry turrets. Not much on either one there. If anything, Kang technically has an advantage unit loadout-wise, because he does have those jokers and then the Sams, which are both far more efficient at being attacking units than anything that Turtle has. But unfortunately, Kang is not gathering up the units the way that he needs to. He just keeps auto-deploying them one at a time, and all that he is really doing in the end, he's just feeding Turtle. And Turtle's starting to get fat, folks. He's up to level 7. He's got a lot of his abilities online. He's got his ultimate ability online, which is that Whirlwind Hurricane attack, which that will just wipe out almost everything Kang can throw at him. All his ground speed is upgraded, level 2 on the bomb. The only thing he really doesn't care about is that Manta Strike. Meanwhile, looking at Kang, Kang is only really interested in the cloak itself. He's got no stasis blast, no upgraded armor, and he hasn't hit level 7 yet for his ultimate, but in a match like this, a Neo ultimate isn't really going to benefit him that much. I mean, if I was Kang, I wouldn't even worry about my ultimate ability. There's nothing that Turtle has that Kang's ultimate will be able to benefit from. Turtle, massive upkeep advantage. Again, most of it all on zippers. A few Turtle units. Yes, we have a Turtle player and Turtle units. Might be a little confusing there, especially if maybe you're a little bit newer. But in the end, so many turtles all over the place. Kang trying to neutralize his outpost. He doesn't want to continue losing ground. He's already lost a lot of ground. But what Kang needs to do is he needs to stop using that auto-deploy, and he needs to start taking more control over his units. Keep in mind now, folks, with the changes to auto-deploy, anything that you build in auto-deploy, if you auto-deploy it, You're not gaining experience boost, so that is why Kang is now 2 levels behind Turtle. He's not gaining experience, and he just keeps sending in 1 unit at a time, 1 unit, 1 unit. Because of that delay, there is roughly a 2.5 second delay from when something's finished being built until the auto deploy will release it. That was implemented to avoid abusing the system and overwhelming the player without really any skill involved at all. But what typically most players will do is if they're going to use the auto deploy, they will come in over here and they will draw some sort of path with the V to make a circle. So that way your units will stay in that one area and you can truly start to amass a large amount of units. Once you got that large amount of units, then you send them all at the same time and you just completely overwhelm your opponent with sheer numbers. Had Kang been using that strategy since the beginning with those jokers, even though they were only jokers, which jokers don't do anywhere near the same amount of damage to a fortress that a jackal would, it still could be something. But with the way that it's deploying out, it has just been nothing but just more and more food for Turtle. Turtle is just getting out of control here. He's floating the max amount of credits he can have. He can't even spend them fast enough. He's got all the abilities online that he would possibly want. Once he hits level 10, he can go ahead and upgrade that whirlwind ability to level 2. But right now, Turtle is looking pretty unstoppable here. And Kang is still just sadly only at 14 units. 14 upkeep. Most of that is devoted seriously into Turtle units themselves, which are not going to help him out in the slightest for this match. Meanwhile, ImATurtle bringing in those sentry turrets. Pew, pew, pew. Seriously, it's just like a little pew, pew, pew. The damage is being done, but as you can see, folks, it's not anything of any significant speed here. Sentry turrets are not designed really to be actual fortress attacking units. They're supposed to be more anti-light turrets. But what else is Turtle going to use, right, folks? It's either those sentry turrets or it's those zipper motorcycles. That's it. Not much else he can do unless he just comes in and he just swipes in with himself as a bomber. But let's be real, you're better off at least setting out zippers than doing that. Kang still hanging on to 2 outposts, keeping him alive, keeping him in the game. Turtle, for whatever reason, even though he has such a major upkeep advantage, has still not been able to capitalize on that. And it's also hurting him at the same time because if he would have more outposts, he could have more max upkeeps and could really just dominate this out a lot better. Sadly, unfortunately, I think some of the players are thinking more that being a badass means just bringing light units, and that's not really necessarily the case. Being a badass is doing something that's like, you know, holy crap. I mean, it doesn't need light units to be holy crap, guys. I mean, it could still be heavy units. It could be, you know, using some a little bit more meta, but like, as a great example, folks, before it started becoming a little bit more meta through Minx, using T99s as offensive units. That was unheard of, that was completely unique, and it was so badass. Because you didn't expect it, no one had thought of it before, and the way that she was using it was just unbelievably awesome. So keep in mind, for those of you that are playing tonight, it's not just about bringing light units, guys. It's about bringing putting the OP in OP-ness. That's what it is, folks, right there. We're going to say it right there. Putting the OP in OP. That's right. That is what it is, folks. We even just threw that up in the chat. So if you are watching live right now on Twitch, you can see exactly what we're talking about. That is what being a badass is all about. Turtle now above his unit upkeep max. He will not be able to build any more units at this point unless he gains more territory or starts losing units. Kang still only sitting at a 12 upkeep, 11 upkeep for the entire battlefield, while still floating 40,000 credits. Why he's not building more, honestly, folks, I cannot tell you. He definitely needs the units. He definitely needs to try to get into this fight. Because right now, I'm sorry to say, but this is like anything but badass right now. Kang having a moment of indecision there, or trying to see what it was that he was going to do. In the end, it seems though that he is just going to continue to feed one by one SAM units out. Apparently, folks, if it doesn't succeed, just keep trying to do it until it works. And if it never works, well then, claim that the game is broken. I don't know what else to say on this one, guys. I really don't. And if all else fails, drop your artillery right next to everything and let it be blown up. Well, these are those times when I do wish that I had somebody like RUI live on the stream with me, so that way we can discuss other things while we kind of wait for something to happen. Kang just continuing to do non-stop feeding of units one by one in. Has not changed his strategy in the entire game, has not learned, has not adapted, has not realized that the strategy that he's been using the entire round is not working. And that's something that's really, really important, folks. If you're playing PvP, you need to be able to dynamically adapt on the fly. If something is not working out for you, folks, you need to take a step back, even in the middle of the game, and be like, you know what? This is just not working. I need to do something different. I need to come up with some unique approach, something different, some way to make things happen differently, because my constant auto deploy of unit one by one has not done anything. We are now 16 minutes into the game. Level 4 creeps are coming out. Potentially these level 4 creeps could be the most strongest thing on the entire battlefield. Turtle doing nothing but building up heroes, turtles, zippers, have yet to push anything out on here. What he's waiting for, I honestly cannot tell you. But sadly enough, this is probably, since the fact that we said it's you, the viewers, that are determining the fate of these players, sadly, this is probably costing him points instead of earning him points. And that's what I'm trying to say for all of you that are playing tonight to keep in mind. The idea is a step away from meta, but to be a badass as you do it. To put on, basically to be fun and entertaining and to wow the viewers. Turtle now all the way up to level 13, maxed out ultimate ability, clears out those units as if they were almost nothing. More damage has been done to Kang's base, down to about 40% health remaining. 10 upkeep versus 66 upkeep. And Kang will once again fly empty-handed to Turtle's Fortress, shoot into the more heavily armed areas, doing less damage. All I need, folks, is a little pew-pew sound effect. Meanwhile, Turtle, all the way up to level 14, 76 upkeep, has built 100 172 units, has destroyed 152 units. Kang, on the other hand, has built 312 units, and yet still only has 6 units out on the battlefield. So folks, while we are continuing the waiting, I will take this moment to tell everybody that tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Cynical Llama is hosting his first ever tournament with his new faction called the Love Hurts Tournament. It looks like we're going to have about 16 players, all in 1v1, 2 streams running it all. Dissonant will, I believe, is running the... Actually, I don't know what the plan is on it. It's all being hosted and organized by Cynical Llama. The only thing that I know is that we will be broadcasting some matches here on OPTV. Beyond that, I still do not know what our role in this is. But it should be a pretty amazing tournament. There's a lot of prizes on the line for tomorrow. Llama has spent a lot of time trying to prep, plan, and get this tournament ready. Some good names in there. I see Rex in there. I see Polar Bears in there. I see Big Boss in there. So it should be really a good tournament. And definitely, Sin needs your help and your support, guys. This is one of the first big ones that he has ever done. You know, whenever it's RUI that does it, you guys come out in raves. And you show him so much love, so much support for his tournament. Maybe Sin, this will be his, hey, we got our 3rd kill now of the match. Turtle all the way up to level 15. Is virtually unstoppable at this point, but yet has no units really built up to actually attack the fortress. He fortunately has map control at this point, folks, so at least we will be getting domination damage in the next 20 seconds. And if Kang cannot neutralize out an outpost by that time, then at about 30% base health left, we should be done with this fairly soon. Turtle right now needs to make sure that Kang cannot neutralize out this outpost. He needs to hang on to it. Kang close to death. He will go down. That will start the overtime damage. There we go, folks. Imminent danger online for Turtle. And here comes the base damage. This will be more damage than anything else that could be done in any player's loadout. The damage is happening. The damage is real. Thank you, domination damage. One more hit. Will Turtle get the last swipe, or will it be domination damage? It looks like it was domination damage that does do it, but in the end, folks, it will be ImATurtle that will secure the win. Folks, don't go anywhere. We will be opening up the polls for your votes. Remember, your votes are based on how much of a badass each of these players were. So make sure to cast your votes accordingly. 1 for the lowest amount of points, 5 for the highest amount of points. The polls will be opening. It will be the winner that will be cast first, who is ImATurtle. Then the loser afterwards, who is Kang. And we will also prepare for Game C. So don't go anywhere. You're watching OPTV Live. I am Steve. Like, follow, subscribe, and show us that OP love that we love to show each and every one of you. All the hype. Hype train in the house.